That's Dr. Oz and Herschel Walker. They received a notification from President Biden's administration saying, President really doesn't want you anymore. And Herschel Walker, who is now a Senate Republican candidate, and I think he's Pennsylvania, and then Dr. Oz is Georgia, respectively. Well, they were appointed back in 2018 when the president, Donald Trump at that time, asked them to serve on the council for a 2-year appointment. And then that was renewed in December 2020. But now, yeah, it seems that Joe Biden wants them out. So this is what CNN had to say about the reasoning. It's against the Biden administration's policy for federal candidates to serve on presidential boards, according to a White House official. Members of the President's Council on Sports, Fitness, and Nutrition are considered special government employees who, per the Hatch Act, may not be candidates in partisan elections while conducting official government business. The official said letters to Oz and Walker were sent Wednesday requesting their resignations at 6 p.m. But of course, both of them refused to resign. And CNN had reported this: "I'm not a quitter, so you are going to have to fire me," Walker said in a statement. Oz also put out a statement saying, "Clearly Joe Biden can't be around anyone who doesn't completely fall in line with his fear-mongering authoritarian one-size-fits-all COVID handling. I am proud of my service and will not resign." So while Walker is out here acting up a fool, he's also advising about nutrition and why it's problematic in terms of his advisement. So per the Daily Beast, they wrote that that's because months before the vaccine was available, Walker was swearing by and encouraging others to use unproven mystery treatments, including an allegedly FDA-approved dry mist that will kill any COVID on your body. Yeah. And also, despite his medical training and calling himself doctor, Dr. Oz is just as bad. Per the New York Times, on COVID-19, Dr. Oz has been particularly contradictory. He's promoted the safety and efficacy of vaccines and masks, but also initially recommended the use of malaria drug hydroxychloroquine to treat COVID based on small and soon discredited studies. While these are not only the Trump appointees that Biden wants out, there are some others too. Per CNN last fall, the Biden White House asked a number of Trump appointees, including former White House Press Secretary Sean Spicer, senior counselor Kellyanne Conway, and National Security Advisor H.R. McMaster, to resign from their positions on Military Service Academy advisory boards. I would like to think that Biden, as now the commander-in-chief, is making the right call here in terms of getting these people up and out. But it definitely seems that in Dr. Oz's and Walker's situation, that it's because it violates the Hatch Act for them to stay on these councils while also being candidates for Congress. But hey, maybe they're just not all that big on following the rules, and they had to try to make this about politics. What do you think, Ben?
Yeah, I mean, aside from like the Hatch Act, kind of like never really like seriously enforced, which is one thing that's just, I think, a little bit frustrating about it, that they, because the people that are subject to the Hatch Act very often are positions of power, like Dr. Oz, where they kind of are just able to shirk the law in a lot of different ways. But like Dr. Oz being, the fact that he's even there in the first place just speaks to the ridiculousness of Donald Trump, just seeing somebody on TV and putting them on a board. Like Dr. Oz does not belong on any type of like health board. His whole TV show was just this, honestly, like propagated a lot of anti-science mentality because he was very into the whole like popular diet phenomenon that leads to people, oh, is coffee good for you? Is coffee bad for you? Is chocolate good for you? Is chocolate bad for you? That type of like back and forth thing on like the popular diet is one thing that lets people have a very anti-science sentiment that I think has partly been responsible for growing into this anti-vax movement, where people look at Dr. Oz saying different things one week over another, and then they'll say, oh, well, clearly doctors have no idea what they're talking about, and it's like, no, they do. Dr. Oz is just a TV grifter.
Yeah, no, he definitely was. And hey, we had a TV grifter as a president, so it almost seemed pretty appropriate. It's one of those things where I think that Biden should have probably done this a long time ago, but I'm glad it got done now.